What's up, Klamath Falls? Let's make it loud. Big rooster's crowing.
Hey, what's up, Klamath Falls? This is Mike.
What's up, Klamath Falls? This is Dave.
What's up, Klamath Falls? This is Kelly.
What's up, Klamath Falls? This is Ashley.
Perfect.
I did it.
Yeah, you did it.
I did it.
Clapping at you.
So today we have, it's a long name, so I'm going to read it off
You
the board
butchered
here.
it, it's okay.
The South Central Oregon Economic Development District Chair
Mhm.
and former Chair, Kelly.
Yep.
And here to talk about what you guys do with the Economic Development Group. So welcome. Thanks for reaching out and coming
Thank
on.
you. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
I could maybe do a quick, like, how we got to where we are, a little bit of the backstory, and then she gets to speak about where we're going, the fun part.
Perfect.
But a lot of people know, and they've probably seen that the South Central Oregon Economic Development District, commonly called SCOEDD, but we've actually rebranded to just be called the district. So I'll probably use those interchangeably. But a couple years ago, SCOEDD was not in a good place. There was some issues with previous leadership. I can say it kind of simply as that. I was asked to come in and be the chair. And really, I share with people, if they know much about housing, our desire or our approach became, let's take it down to the studs. So we basically reset the agency. We divested of all the staff at the time, and we had no staff for a while. And we said, what is this agency? What really should it do? What can it do? Let's clean it up. Let's do. I use the term a hard reset. So we had about 7 months where we had no staff, and we really went to the what is the core mission here, and some of the basics, like what mail do we get, who walks in, what should we be doing. So we've been in a cleanup process for a long time now, but we're getting there. And what we have landed on is the most important thing is that this entity can get money into the hands of entrepreneurs, small businesses that maybe wouldn't traditionally be bankable. And so that's really our lane, but it has been messy. It was messy not because of anything that had to do with me. It's certainly nothing to do with Ashley. We had to come in and be the cleanup crew. And I think that work is important because SCOEDD is an important entity. And so it's been worth it, but it has been a lot. And but now we're getting to a good place, and I'll let Ashley take it from there.
Yeah, so we're getting there. We're working on budgets. We're figuring out where our money's at, and we're hoping to get money into the community like it's supposed to be. I started getting interested in economic development probably about a year ago and reached out to Kelly and a few others about how I can get involved. And I started as treasurer on the board and really learned a lot very quickly because it was kind of sink or swim. But now we're getting to a point where we can get down to the nuts and bolts of it and really get it up and going where we're able to get money out there. We're able to help small businesses, bring jobs into the community. And I just think that's really where it starts. We need to be able to get that out there and help those people who normally wouldn't be able to go to a bank or any other financial institution to be able to get that started.
So I'm probably going to ask a question that everybody's thinking right away is, how are you guys funded?
So we have a few different grants. We have some EDA grants, and then there's the House bill, and I never know the numbers. Do you?
3999.
Yes. There's some loans that we're taking out, and so that funding actually has an end period, and so we are constantly having to look for new funding and new grants. But the EDA is the big one.
And that's a federal funding stream that comes every entity, every square mile of the entire country is under an economic development district. And so the federal government provides this EDA, I think it stands for Economic District Association or something. It's a federal program, but every entity across the country gets $75,000 a year to make these districts viable.
Okay. And you take care of Klamath and Lake counties?
Mhm.
Okay. Good deal. Do you have an entity over there? Is there an office or a presence, or do people come here from Lake County for?
It's been
Well,
a mix.
yeah.
It depends. So we had, when we did this hard reset,
Mhm.
like I said, we had time where we had no staff. Then when we felt ready to take on staff again, we actually hired two part-time grant and loan coordinators, one in Klamath, one in Lake.
Hmm.
And so there, I mean, the goal is to always have both counties equally represented. And in fact, in the bylaws, the commissioners from both counties serve on the board, and then but our board has a total of 11 people. So it has five commissioners, Commissioner Nichols, myself, and then the three Lake County commissioners, and then it has six private citizens, both from Lake and Klamath.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
And so somebody's starting up a small business, you guys would be a good door to knock on early
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have some partners that we work with. Reach
Mm-hmm.
Small Business Association downtown, and then what's the one with that's in the same building?
Klamath Idea,
Thank you.
which helps the entrepreneurs. That's
Mhm.
really their lane. And what's been very cool is that economic development in Klamath County is an ecosystem,
Mhm.
and everyone has a role. And we have been very intentional about making sure those lanes are defined so that there's not a lot of overlap. So you take something like KCEDA, Klamath County Economic Development Association. They're really the recruit, attract. They're going to be more of your get a Winco.
Mhm.
That's not what SCOED does. SCOED's not out beating down the doors for a Winco. SCOED's lane is very different. We can say it simply like we're the money people. Like we are able to provide loans at different times in the entity's history. Sometimes there's grants, but really we are that like we're getting capital in the hands of people who wouldn't maybe necessarily get capital. And then Klamath Idea is very much inspiring entrepreneurs, helping connect them with resources, not necessarily always financial, right? Like sometimes it's a different resource. The Small Business Development Center has a lane and a role. The Chamber of Commerce has a lane and a role. The New Innovation Center, that's SCORI is the acronym that's out under the umbrella of Oregon Tech. They have a role. So what's really important, and Ashley's coming in at such an exciting time, is that all the pieces of the ecosystem are valuable, and we've gotten much more intentional about making sure there's not overlap.
Okay. Let me see. So some of the services offered are business planning,
Mhm.
capital and financial resources, economic and site development. Are there projects around town going on now that you guys have had involvement in?
Cut our little fingers in. We have. So we have done some loans. We actually
Mhm.
are trying to pause the loans for just a
Yes.
little bit as we're going through an audit process, a very lengthy. I'll let you speak to more of those financial pieces, but I will just say that once we did get restarted, we did work on a couple of loans. We did a loan with Whiskey Bandit
Mhm.
downtown.
Sorry.
We did a loan with them. We did Jasco, which is out of Lake County.
Mhm.
That was
Mhm.
actually like a very successful loan. I think we've done maybe one or two others, or we have one or two others in the pipeline.
Mhm.
But we maybe speak to us having a little pause on the
Yes.
loan program while we undergo an audit.
Yeah. So we're undergoing the audit, but also on top of that, when we kind of recalibrated everything, bank accounts got combined and people left that knew where that money came from. And so a lot of the money is very restricted, and we have to make sure that we spend it appropriately. We can't just hand out EDA money to people that don't qualify for that specific program. And so we're really, really, really trying to spend some time going through our financials. So we're going back 7 years in bank statements. We're getting contracts, the original contracts we signed with these people, and really trying to figure out what we have to lend, because I don't want to promise the moon and only be able to give a clover off the ground.
Right.
And so I want us to be in a really good spot before we start handing money out to people. And that's really our goal, I think, probably for the next 2 months minimum, is we're trying to figure out where we stand. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, if you're going through a rebuilding process,
Mhm.
might as well, like you say, tear it down to the studs and start over and get it. That way you, as a new chair, know
Yeah.
exactly what you're working with.
No, it's
So,
been great. I've went in and went through a few of our bank accounts and re-put them into spreadsheets and typed out the deposits, and I think it's probably a little overkill, but it's really helped me to see what was going into those accounts, what was coming out of those accounts, if it was appropriate spending, not appropriate spending. So I think it's been just a really great experience.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
And we do have, just so it people feel assured, we have a accounting firm that we work with,
Mhm.
small business accounting SPC. The audit firm we're working with is now called Baker Tilly, formerly Moss Adams. So this is we are making sure that this rebuild, every T is crossed, every I is dotted,
Mhm.
every dollar is appropriate, and that's because we're going to do right by the taxpayers
Yeah.
and make sure that just everything is perfect. Going back and trying to get caught up on audits that weren't done
Mhm.
is a very difficult process. But the board, and this is not just us, the full board felt like it was very important to get those audits done and make sure we can start at some point kind of a clean slate. And so even though this audit process is arduous, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think we're doing things correctly in our procedures too. We're going through, we are revamping procedures, making sure that we're following things properly because they may not have been before. And I am a rule follower. So I love going in and saying, no, it's not how it's lined out. If we don't like that, then we need to change it. And so I think that we've been really good about going in and getting our foundation solid before we start doing crazy things with handing out funds.
Right. Makes sense. So I know you're a few months out from being able to start doing that
Mhm.
again, but if somebody was wanting to start a new business
Mhm.
and needed your assistance, how would they go about doing that?
Well, what's really exciting is we've been working with, is it On the Verge or just The Verge? On the Verge to get our website revamped, our social media revamped. And so, because we were locked out of all those things.
Okay.
And so we're trying to start from scratch, really. And it's been great. We have a whole new logo. We've picked out new colors. We've done a whole new rebranding. And so our goal is to be able to do those applications through the website, and then they'll go directly to us, and we'll have some checklists, and people can turn in all of their information through some sort of portal. So it's very exciting.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll keep an eye on that. And once it's up, we'll go ahead and share it on
that'd be
Big
great.
Rooster Media page as well.
Yeah,
And we can announce it here. But yeah,
yeah.
it's good. I've actually been, I won't mention who, but we've been looking at some options of things that we were going to do. Whiskey Bandits facility was one that we were looking at, but
Yeah. Put something
Oh,
great there because
yeah.
I work close by. I'd love
well,
to
if
be
they
able.
could fix some of the issues that are going on between upstairs and downstairs, it might.
Oh,
Anyway,
gotcha.
just leave it at that.
I'm intrigued.
Me too.
Not yet for public consumption. What we'll see.
Fair, fair.
So, so anyway, once it's up and running, then we can announce that, and people will be able to just go through the website and apply.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of restrictions, or what are you looking for candidates that would be viable for the service?
I mean, we're not going to give money out to just anybody. Obviously, that's not good business. There are some restrictions that we're coming up with, kind of a grading rubric. We have a really great treasurer who is in the banking business and is very knowledgeable. Thank goodness for him joining our team. I think he's going to be a huge asset. So we're coming up with kind of lending guidelines that we're looking at. They do have to go to a bank first, and if they get denied by that bank, then they can, of course, come to us. There will be recommendations that they have business plans and substantial collateral, or at least enough collateral to be able to get our money back if something were to happen. But I don't think that our guidelines will be quite as stringent as, like, let's say you went down to your local,
Chase or
yeah, something like that. Because we do want to get money into people's hands. Small business is hard. And my husband and I have opened a small business or two and just used our own money. And it was always kind of a hobby for us because it's really hard to make it in small business in Klamath Falls. And so anything that we can do to help those people out and get through the first year or even 5 years, that's huge for a family.
yeah.
So that's what we really want to do.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I chose this. It's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't
No,
pay
not a
very
lot of
good, but
overhead.
yeah.
Yeah,
To day drink. I mean,
yeah,
that's why you chose this.
exactly.
Well, the idea originally was this was either going to be a bar or a studio, and
Hmm.
it kind of morphed into both. So,
Love that. Just take them both and put them together.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Take your passions and do it all.
Um, so is all funds that are dispersed, are they all loans? Are they grants? How is that money handled?
It depends on the funding.
Okay.
So we don't have any grants as of right now where we can just give free money out. But right now it would just be a loan program, and you'd have to pay interest, and same thing you would do with a financial institution. However, I think in the past there's been grants.
There has been, and that was, I think, part of if we want to do an autopsy on what why SCOED had so many problems. Part of it is they started they lost kind of the true purpose and started going in so many different directions. And I will say with grace, part of it was during the pandemic, there started being so
Mm.
much money coming out, and governments and other entities were like, who can administer this money? Let's have SCOED, let's have SCOED. So they really lost, they didn't stay focused on their mission. And I will say that all the commissioners are by title automatically members of or on the board of SCOED. I really did not participate in SCOED prior to all of these problems. And I always said, like, for many years, I was the liaison to KCEDA. And so I said, like, I'm the KCEDA person. Other people can focus on SCOED. So I was technically named as a board member, but I was not a participating board member. But over those years, now again, if I take like an autopsy type view of it, I think they started going in too many different directions. They were either responding to people who needed them or sometimes chasing the money, like, oh, this grant program we can, and it's not a good business practice. What you need to do is find the thing you're good at and then stay focused on that. And so that's what we're doing now at SCOED
Yes.
is we know our lane, we're staying focused on it. And even just in the last, even post the taking it down to the studs, we still have people reach out to us and say, well, could you administer this? Can you get involved in this piece that has to do with education or that? And sometimes our staff will get excited and say, like, oh, we got like, let's do this. And I'm like, remember, this is our lane.
Yes.
We're narrow. We're staying focused. We're purpose driven on this one purpose.
Mhm.
So I think that was part of the, I don't want to say downfall because it didn't get destroyed, but it was part of the problem with SCOED in the past is it got too many different directions. For example, when I first came in as chair and I was learning about, what is all going on here, I think there was something like 15 bank accounts at like
Wow.
5 different
Mhm.
financial I mean, just that alone, like and this is no disrespect or criticism of any one individual of the past, whether it's a staff person or it's not a criticism. I think that it just got so complicated that probably not one human could keep track of all.
Not
I
see
mean, I
the
can
forest
barely
for the
keep track
trees.
of, yeah, exactly. I can barely keep track of like, a dog and a few things. Like it's just keeping track of 15 bank accounts at 5 different
Yeah.
institutions. It's just too much.
Mhm.
And I'm not here to condemn or defend anybody. I'm just going to say that I can see where that would be easy to fall into because I'm sure there are more than enough people that have their hands out
Mhm.
Exactly.
and trying to deal with that and sift through all of them and find out what's legitimate, what's not, what has a chance to succeed and what doesn't.
Mhm.
I mean, if some business models you can just look at them and be like, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
So,
But you also have to stay neutral, right? You can't bring any emotion into it. You have to make sure it's fair for everybody. And so that's really where getting down to setting rules in place or procedures in place is just going to be super important. But along the lines of what Kelly was saying too, we get a lot of, do you mind just being the pass through for this, where you just manage the money will go in and you just pay it out, and it's, related to what we do, but we're spending a lot of man hours making sure it's done appropriately and not really getting the money back for it, and that's not a wise business decision either. So we've really had to say no to a lot of that. To some people were not, very happy about it, but we need to focus and we need to stay in our lane and we need to do what we want to do and not try to chase the funds of money.
One person's $1 million idea is another person's, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
You know? So I get that. And I've been on both sides of that, honestly. But you don't know, sometimes.
Yeah.
Dave, you had notes.
I did, but they covered a lot because yeah, I did homework this morning. I found online. I couldn't the programs, the grants and the loans was blanked out. I found Betty Tyree still on the website, but they've covered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully a new website coming soon.
Yes.
Yeah, I
We-
think it's supposed to be launched in September. And
Mhm.
and this is, I mean, just honest, we are the people that are working on our new website have tried and just can't even get in to dismantle the old website
Mhm.
because, again, staff's gone that knew that. And I mean, it sounds sometimes, it sounds almost kind of silly, but literally like people took passwords and stuff and
Mhm.
they didn't mean to, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
they were the only ones who knew.
Yep.
And now they're gone and we try to get a hold of them and people don't have it. And so the website is very outdated. We apologize for that. It will be taken away
Yes.
soon.
And it's going to look beautiful.
For what it's worth, I mean, I'm part of Rip City Riders.
Yeah.
And if you look at our website, it's been a long time. And same thing, people left, passwords left. We can't get back in to administrate it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just,
It happens.
And I
It
think that's a
happens.
really big goal when we did our strategic planning is we were like, we want this to be pretty self-sufficient. We don't want to have to update pictures every time we get a new board member. We don't want to update biographies. We don't want to update links. We want it all to just run on its own. And then if we do lose a password, at least we're not having pictures of a mayor that is no longer with us, on the website as a
Right.
board member for however many years. And so I think that was one of the big goals of our rebranding.
And part of the things that we did. So at one point, way back, where I said like I was a non-participating board member, I believe there was 24 board members.
Yeah.
Have you
Wow.
ever tried to manage 24 people? It is impossible to do it effectively, right? Like to actually have participation. So there was 24 board members, but about 10 or 11 people actually participated and showed up. So when we went through what I call the hard reset, at one point we were meeting every other week, and we were working like hands touching folders and moving the office and all of these things. And at some point, it became really apparent to me of even just the extra effort of including 24 people on an email. I mean, it sounds really silly of like typing names, but it just like if we really only have 10 or 11 people participating, we need to reformat and actually have a board that is 10 or 11 people. So that was a change that we made. We've made a change. We're working, we made a change recently. It used to say in the old bylaws that the chair had to be a commissioner. Well, sometimes commissioners are too busy to do the leadership part of it. And Ashley had stepped in and really like was doing all the work and she was the natural choice to be the chair. So I'm really proud and I hope that people see all the work that's gone in to really reformat this, take this failing organization because I'm going to just be blunt. It was failing. It very arguably could have just gone away, but there was enough people who said it's really important to have this entity. We don't want to miss out on this. And because there are opportunities that come with it under EDA. So we said, okay, this agency is basically failing. What is it going to take to rebuild it? And part of the rebuild, the most important thing is like setting the table correctly. So not having a board of 24 people, not having 15 bank accounts. And it's been a lot of work, but it's been, I think people should feel really pleased that it's going to be a really strong organization moving forward because it is important. And thank you to the fellow board members and Ashley for stepping up in a leadership role because it's been a lot of work. I was very happy to turn the chair over to her.
Well, this community and Lake County as well need help,
Mhm.
really do. So it's great to be more aware of what you actually do.
Mhm.
I'd heard the name kicked around from time to time. It didn't really affect me, so I never really looked too much into it. But when you reached out, started pursuing it a little bit more,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah.
there are good things happening in Klamath County,
Yes.
and that's part of it. So seeing, I don't even know what it is. It's going on at the ledge. I forget. There's a name for
Waterfront row.
Water-
Or watershed row. I'm
watershed.
sorry.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm not sure what's going on there, but that looks awesome, and just seeing things changing for the better, it seems like.
Yeah.
So it's good. Um, I think I'm kind of out of questions. Is there anything else you would like to add to it, or?
No, I'm just really excited to take on the role and get my hands dirty. I'm not someone that just joins a committee so my name can be on the flyer or whatever.
Yeah,
I pretty much tackle whatever I start, and so I'm excited. I'm excited to get in there and start handing money out to our community. So
I appreciate you reaching out and wanting to come
Yeah,
on the show.
of
It's great.
course,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah, and
I'll just say that, SCOED has been uh, in the spotlight a little bit because of some things in the past, and there's a lot of people that have taken shots at it, and that's fine. There were some things that needed to be cleaned up, but the folks that have been involved in the cleanup and the reset have been saints in how much time, effort, energy they have put in, and they should all be commended. So the folks that are on the board now are honest, and not to suggest, a bunch of people were dishonest in the past, but honest, hardworking, and just like want to stand this back up for the community because the community does need this. And so they deserve our gratitude, not throwing stones at them.
well, and when you live in the community, you see that.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes with a board of 24 people, you're just kind of there, not
Yep.
Yeah.
you're just
No, I think the board now is really outstanding and they really care. And you can tell because they come to the meetings prepared and they have suggestions and they don't sit back and they're not just silent contributors to have their name on the board of directors for SCOED. They actually want us to do well, and we all want to do well. And I mean, Lake County, probably more than us, really could benefit from some new businesses and some financial help. County and city. I mean, the city is struggling right now. And so having new businesses in Lake County and within city limits for them would be huge. And so if we could really start this up and get it going appropriately, then I think that it could really have a huge impact on both communities, but Lakeview especially.
yeah, I was just over there about a month and a half ago. It's kind of sad where it's at.
Yeah.
There's so much that used to be there that's not anymore, and
Mhm.
it's a great little town.
Yeah.
So
And they have some great leaders over there.
Yes.
Their commissioners that participate, Commissioner Schulenberger,
Mm-hmm.
Albertson, and Williams, they are outstanding individuals and public servants. And so, yeah, everybody's rooting for, I mean, of course, we're biased to Klamath County, but everybody's rooting for Lake County too.
well, we have Crater Lake.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I don't know. I'm kind of halfway between the two, so I'll root for both.
Fair enough. Well, unless you have anything else, I
This was fun.
guess
Yeah.
we'll.
Thank you
Good
so
to
much
see
for
you guys.
having us.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, thank you for reaching out, wanting to come
course.
on. Thank you for the junior mints.
You're so welcome.
One of my favorite candies. So,
Yeah,
Me
they're
too.
delicious. It's wonderful.
all right, ladies. Well, thank you very much. And anytime, there's always a seat at the table for you guys.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you so much.
absolutely.
All right.
Thanks.